What is poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're taking a look at Mean Girls 2024, which is a new movie which came out in January, which I had no idea was even being made. Mean Girls, the original, is something that I watched a lot in school. I don't know why, we just did. We watched the original in English like 4 times, and I'm gonna say I did enjoy it. I thought it was pretty good. And I am quite partial to a chick flick. I do believe that is their official name. I quite like them. 10 Things I Hate About You is another good one. And I have gone blank. Grease is another good one as well. So I quite like them. And this one was turned into a musical. They turned Mean Girls into a musical. I think it was adapted from the Broadway musical, which was adapted from the original. So technically, I don't know where this comes from. Is it an adaptation of the Broadway or is it an adaptation of the original? Don't have a clue. But it is a new movie, and for a musical, the songs aren't that great, but we'll get into that a little bit later because it's time for the Google segment of our videos. A new student, Katie Heron, gets welcomed into the top of the social food chain by an elite group of popular girls called the Plastics, ruled by the convincing queen, B. Regina George. However, when Cindy, makes the major mishap of falling for Regina's ex-boyfriend, she soon finds herself caught in the crossfires, whatever. That's what Google has to say, but let's quickly run through the story. If you haven't seen Mean Girls 1, or Mean Girls this one, 2024, the story follows the exact same plotline, the exact same pattern, so it doesn't matter which one you've seen, we can go through it again. Film starts off with Cassie in Kenya, and she moves back home because her mother feels bad for dragging her daughter all the way to Kenya to do her research because she's missing out on valuable social experiences in high school. So in September, she enrolls in school, and she's treated like the new girl even though they restart school in September. So I don't know why she's being treated like a new girl when everyone is new anyway. Like, it's September, everyone's just coming back. She doesn't need to be pointed out to be the new girl when she is just starting school with everyone else. I didn't get that. But she basically sits on the floor in one of her classes, which I have no idea how the teacher allowed, and she makes friends with these two art students who basically are the narrators of this entire movie, where they sing an opening song, they sing an ending song, and they keep having narrator segments all the way throughout the film. We then have her at lunch and no one wants to sit with her, so these two art students basically point out all the different cliques and tell her, you know what, if you don't want to find a clique, you can sit with us and join our clique. And Regina George actually invites her to come sit, and she joins the Plastics. She now has to wear a pink shirt on Wednesdays and sweatpants on Fridays, as that is the rules, and the only two that I actually remember, and the only two that were actually brought up in the movie. So, she borrows a pink shirt off one of the art kids and joins in. She goes to her calculus math class. I don't know why they call it calculus. That is beyond me. I'm not too intelligent with math, so I have no idea. And she meets the love of her life, and she sings a love ballad of saying she gave up on love when she was 13, and now, because of this one boy in meth, she found it again. And she wants to pursue love. She goes to Regina's house after school. She tells Gretchen that she loves this guy, and Gretchen's like, hell no, don't do that. She also tells the art kids that she loves this guy, and they're like, oh no, don't do that. And, you know, she continues to talk to him in secret in the calculus class, their own little paradise. She then fits in and gets in really well with these guys, learning their secrets, learning their evil schemes and how they operate. But at a Halloween party, she doesn't dress slutty, which, to be fair, was a shock. And she, tells Regina that she likes the boy, and the boy then gets back with Regina as like a little evil plot. And she, the girl, Katie, goes running back to the art kids saying, hey, Regina, go back with the guy I like. And they're like, right, we'll fuck her over. We'll destroy her school life. So they give her Caltine bars and other things. They spray her with water and they do other meaningless shit, and she inevitably brings the burn book to school when she finds out that they've been fucking with her, and she gets all popular, and she stops her from sitting with them, and she brings the burn book, which is like a big sort of plot point, which is obviously the book, which they write shit about everyone inside, and she dumps it in the hallway. Someone finds it, and then they take it to the principal, and, Regina George plays it like, hey, there's only 3 people not in this book, and that's fucking vile. And everyone gets an assembly, they all do a trust fall, another song breaks out, Regina gets hit by a bus, and segue to the Mathletes, which is basically the redemption. She wins the Mathletes thing, Katie wins it, they then go to prom, she gets queen, but she breaks the crown and gives it to everyone, saying that everyone deserves to be the queen of the prom. Ta-da, happy days, toodle-doodle-doo. That is the end of the movie. Everyone sings a happy song. Quickly sped through the story there because, again, I do want you to go watch this movie. Either watch the original or the new one. The new one is pretty much the same, just with more songs. They are the only differences that I found. So, I have seen the original, and I have seen the new one. And we're going to be talking about what the new one has. And it's the songs. The songs are what make the new one different and make the new one kind of stand out. However, these songs weren't that catchy, they weren't that entertaining, it wasn't anything like Barbie or Wonka, where I instantly added the songs to my playlist, especially Husband Hotel, but this songs, they were quite shit. I'm going to be honest, they weren't that entertaining, they're not making it into my Spotify playlist, and they will probably not ruin my Spotify Wrapped of 2024, like the other 3 mentioned probably will do. This is a 2024 movie, by the way. So this isn't a movie that I missed. I watched it pretty much instantly, as soon as I knew about it anyway. And everyone was complaining about the new actresses that are obviously taking on these roles of the original cast. And obviously, like anything, people complained about it. To be fair, I wasn't bothered. I quite like these new cast. However, I am still partial to the old ones, as they are like very good actors, and the ginger girl from the first one, she's in fucking everything back in the early 2000s, and she's a good actress, to be fair. I've seen her in so much. I don't see her as much now, but I do believe all the original girls were in this new one as well, as like the Regina's mum and a couple of the teachers. I feel like they were in this movie, but I could be wrong with that. It's just what I thought by looking at them. I'm like, hey, that looks like you, but older, so yeah. And with the complaints of the cast, I don't see the point. Like, they were saying that some of them were too fat or they changed the race, which is never anything important. That is just complete bullshit and just nitpicking for nitpicking. And it doesn't have any effect on the story. And it's just pointless to complain about it. They're remaking it, so they're going to recast them. And to be fair, was it better than the original? No. Were the songs better? Or were they any good? No. Was it still a good movie and entertaining to watch? Yes. I still enjoyed this one. It isn't the best version of it, but it was still new, it felt fresh, and it felt reimagined. And I liked that. It wasn't the original, but it was its own thing. And as I said with the Avatar and One Piece, I did try and go into this with an open mind and try and see it as its new own thing. And if this was the original, would it be good? And I'm going to be honest, if this was the original, it would have probably still slapped just as hard. However, I still prefer the original because the songs kind of were trash. But if this was the original, it would have slapped. And that's how I feel about it. I can't even remember any of the songs, so and I watched it like one night ago, so it's quite fresh in my head. So yeah, I don't remember. So that's how forgetful the songs are. So it isn't as good as the original. Or the original didn't even have songs. So it did feel very similar, and I could pick out everything that was similar. They didn't change a lot, which is good for standards because a lot of people complain when they change too much. But it did also feel new and fresh. It felt new, but it still had all the good stuff from the old one. It had the Getting Loser, We're Going Shopping. It had I just blanked on everything, which is perfect. I fucking hate it when I do that. But yeah, we had slight differences with, instead of a guy talking about the chocolate bars, it was her mum, and instead of this, it was that. There is like slight changes, which doesn't really affect much, but the changes are still there, which helped like make it feel new, make it feel fresh, and I watched it, I enjoyed it, and I feel like it does deserve a solid 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because I feel like it would stand on its own. I don't feel like it would stand the test of time. Like, no movie will ever do that. Eventually, it will die out and fade, but I don't feel like it would have been as impactful as the original, but I still think it would have been good if this was the original. There is one issue, and I felt like the dumb girl, I forgot her name, was intentionally way too dumb. She felt really stupid, and it was kind of off-putting and draining, and like very, very facepalm heavy moments. And I'm like, I don't know, just had me facepalming quite a lot with how dumb she was and like dumbfounded. But I still think it's good. 8 out of 10. Solid movie. Would watch again. And I do recommend you all go watch it too. So other than that, I hope you all enjoyed. See you all next one. Have a nice day and goodbye. Stay home and stay safe.